So, tonight, finally, game one of the NBA Finals. The Mavericks against the Celtics in Boston. It's 2:30 a.m. here in the Czech Republic. Whatever time it is for you. I hope it's not as bad as for me. But it is what it is, man. What can you do at the end of the day, right? Uh, that's the European lifestyle. Anyway, I just rewatched the Mavs against the Celtics game that was in March. Just I don't know, had some thoughts about the finals heading into it. It's not like some in-depth stuff, some play stuff, but it's just something that I've been wondering about, wanna talk about. If you wanna talk it with me, leave the comments. Talk it in the comments. Whatever you think. If it's more in depth, if it's just surface level, who cares, right? It's just basketball talk at the end of the day. So, first of all, I want to start with Porzingis, right? He's the obvious X factor. He's been what makes the Celtics great, right? He is a solid rim protector or a really good rim protector. I don't know. I don't know how I would, compare him to the rest of the league, but he can obviously protect the rim somewhat. And he obviously stretches the floor, which just makes the spacing for the Celtics unbearable. And his shooting, he is not afraid to shoot against anyone, obviously. The true question there is the rust versus rest question with him. But I mean, everyone, has gotten the rest they needed, essentially a week, right? Everyone at least a week between the finals and the last game in the playoffs. He has missed, what is it, about month and a half, 2 months, probably a month and a half, something like that, close to it, at least. And I talked about it in my previous video. I think for Porzingis, I would rather have him as healthy as possible, right? Than, uh, you know, especially when with the way they gotten into the finals. I would rather have him fully healthy, which we probably he will probably not be 100% anyway. I don't know, maybe he will, but I would rather have him heading into the finals like this because I don't think the rust will be as bad for him. Obviously, it can be. That is a question mark, right? Maybe he'll be rusty. Does he play on some type of minute restriction? You know, how is the conditioning? You can never simulate live game, right? So he'll for sure not have the conditioning that you need for a finals. Intensity and the way the Mavs obviously have defended throughout these playoffs will be intriguing. Um, the thing is, right? Kleber, one of the matchups for him, he'll probably get some minutes. Gafford and Lively, can one of them stay on the perimeter? And does it just take away from obviously the defense that the Mavericks have, right? With Lively and Gafford just anchoring the paint, with PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr. being able to rotate fairly well. They have the wingspan, right? To contest fairly well on the 3 point line. Even though they have, I would say, given up some really good looks throughout these playoffs from the 3 point line. And that was the trade off. But at the same time, they picked good players to leave open, right? They played the percentages game pretty well. But I wonder if it's when they play the pick and pop and Porzingis gets open from the 3 point line. I mean, we know he can shoot it from anywhere from the pick and pop if he just gets it running the break. If he gets it just running late to the play after a block or something, we know he's comfortable shooting from anywhere. So the rotations will be key, right? If you don't want, I think Lively could stay with him out there, but that obviously leaves the paint more vulnerable. And Luka, PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr. have the size and the wingspan to maybe, in theory, rotate well with against these Celtics. The question, obviously, how do these rotations work? Who are they rotating out of, right? Because the shooters the Celtics have are rough, and obviously how well the rotations do, that's just we'll see. But Porzingis is comfortable shooting from anywhere, like I said, no matter what and who is coming at him. So it might not even matter at the end of the day. Um, and he's the obvious X factor for the Celtics, right? If he's hitting on all cylinders, hitting 3 pointers, even contested, protecting the paint is gonna be tough for anyone to beat the Celtics team, no matter what. Um, but if but we don't know. First finals for him. Obviously, the others have experiences, but for him, it's the first finals against his former team, where there were some I don't know if tension is the right word, but there were some question marks about this relationship that they had, and Chandler Parsons said some bullshit which Luka called him out on. I don't think they have a bad blood between him and Luka, but it obviously didn't work out as well as they hoped and intended. Uh, anyway, Luka. If Luka does not play the level, that he played against the Timberwolves, I don't think they have a chance. If he can't play the series yet against OKC, uh, I guess the Clippers series could be okayish, but I would say that's another losing proposition. He has to be on timing, just like he was against the T-Wolves, which I think he can be. Right, the Celtics will probably let him one-on-one against pretty much anyone, because at the end of the day, you saw it with the Timberwolves. They threw everything at him, and they just did not have enough. And I think at the end of the day, the only player that had enough was Lou Dort, and he was able to get away with a lot of physical play at the end of the day. And it bit them in the butt anyway, because then they started calling it a little tighter once again. So I guess if Luka is not shooting as well as he can, not hitting those Luka shots as well he can, we know this series will not be a series at the end of the day. But you don't expect that. I don't think they can throw anything at Luka that will make him uncomfortable. At least not as well as for sure Lou Dort made him uncomfortable. I don't think he'll be facing anything like that in these playoffs, obviously, since it's just the last series here. The thing is, can they at least mix it up better than Minnesota? Even though I think they did still a fairly solid job mixing it up on him. Can they avoid some crazy heat checks from him? Can they take the ball out of his hands when he's hot? Do you let the others beat you? I don't know. But I think offensively, the Celtics obviously have enough to match the others at the end of the day. So, to match Luka. So, even match the others anyway, right? The Celtics have everything. But Kyrie. The Celtics history we know about. He had that incredible game one with the Nets against them, and they got swept. He's had some solid games against them, some bad games against them. Obviously, those playoffs were very rough for him against the Celtics in 2022. Besides that game one, where they had nothing for him. He's been looking better and better throughout these playoffs, right? Pacing himself really well, so he should be as fresh as it gets. He's not, knocked up, injured, so that's great. I think the matchups right, Derek White, Jalen Brown, maybe some Tatum even on him, even though I don't know about that. Peyton Pritchard, Drew Holiday, they will all get some time on him. Kyrie has the speed against them. I thought when I watched the Mavs Celtics game, he really liked that matchup against Derek White. At the end of the day, it's about shot making, right? Will he make those difficult shots? Will he not? Can they make him uncomfortable? It's the same shit, right? Can they throw him, enough doubles, enough different looks? Can they, take him off his favorite spots at least? That's always the same. Take him out of rhythm without fouling. Um, at the end of the day, against Kyrie and Luka, you just have to pray they miss more likely than not. Even though the Celtics have, um, I would say, a better defensive personnel for Kyrie than the Timberwolves did. For Luka, I don't think that is a good defensive personnel other than Lou Dort, like I keep repeating. I do think they have the better defensive personnel against him. At the end of the day, the question is, will Kyrie's greatness rise once again, or can the Celtics' greatness make him a little more human? Because the overreactions to Kyrie have been crazy this week. Let me just put it that way. But one of the other questions that I have in my head is the one-on-one show, right? Uh, I think that could be, intriguing, because we know both teams very comfortable in the one-on-ones, right? Tatum, Brown, Luka, Kyrie, all comfortable very much. Even Derek White, to a lot of extent, while the Mavs don't have a third shot creator, or I guess Jaden Hardy will fit into that category, and he'll be an intriguing X factor if he can give them some moments in those like 10 to 15 minutes that Luka and Kyrie, one of the two, won't be on the floor, right? And he'll be the ball handler most likely, unless they don't, I think he's earned their trust, and I could see him having a moment in these finals. Because Tim Hardaway Jr. looked unplayable, right? He had one moment against OKC, but overall he's just been not great, and defensively he's an issue. That obviously is the question. Could you could Luka and Kyrie and their one-on-one greatness lure the Celtics into a little too much of one-on-ones, right? Could Tatum, Porzingis, and Brown try to match them too well with that one-on-one greatness? Because obviously Luka, known trash talker, he can get annoying, and if you annoyed him, you want to get it back at him, and that could play into the advantage of of the the Celtics. I mean, of the Mavericks, obviously. But we'll see. That's just something I thought about. Then obviously one of the things is the role players. The Mavs obviously less, I would say less battle tested. I mean, not battle tested because I think their playoff road has been harder, but they still have less experience overall than the Celtics do on all levels, right? Besides Luka and Kyrie. And could the youth play some role in this finals, right? Could they be too young? Could they be too inexperienced? Could one of the, could Lively, Gafford, PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., I don't think so, because I think he has enough experience, right? But could one of those younger players that they got at the deadline or through the draft just have a bad series, which would make this much more uncomfortable, right? Just like Dante Exum completely shitting the bed these playoffs. If one of the players, pressure gets to them, do can Dante Exum step up, right? Can a Tim Hardaway step up if some of these young players uh, just don't have it, right? But it's more going to be about Lively, Gafford, and PJ Washington anyway. And can the role players knock down the three balls in these finals? Um, because I think there'll be a lot of great looks with the way the Mavs protect the paint, right, and the way Luka garners attention, Kyrie garner attention. There will be a lot of great looks, and I mean that's where it is anyway, right? In these playoffs, it's been about the rebounding, who wins the offensive rebounding battle, and overall the rebounding battle, 3-point shooting, and the turnovers. The turnovers, I mean that's the trifecta of basketball, right? Rebounding, 3-point shooting, turnovers at this day and age. But first of all, I want to talk about the turnovers. Tatum and Brown notoriously in the 2022 finals run, right? Tatum had like 100 turnovers throughout the playoffs overall, and it was a huge issue. We know Luka can get a little, how can I say it? A little nasty with the ball, I guess, right? He can turn the ball over a lot. Jalen Brown, obviously, with the left hand stuff, but I think Tatum's improvement as a playmaker was huge, even though he either has a great game, right, where he doesn't turn the ball over or turns it over once or twice and has a lot of assists, or his assist to turnover ratio is pretty much neck and neck, which has happened against Indiana, against Miami, against Cleveland. And Jalen Brown has been more decisive, but the turnover battle between these two will be intriguing, right? Uh, and overall, just the turnover battle, right? That will lead to more transition offense for either team, which would lead to open shots, which would obviously lead to uh, some better momentum for one team or another. But that's just basic basketball at the end of the day. Uh, that's once again, can you make them uncomfortable? Force turnovers, active hands, how will that work, right? Size, length, who will bother each other more? How will the refs obviously allow physicality? Because the refereeing crew is intriguing, right? It's a nightmarish rotation with Tony Brothers and Scott Foster shit, man. It's sad that the NBA doesn't have anything better to offer at the refereeing front, but it is what it is at the end of the day. They are doing their job, I guess, as the league wants them to do, because if they didn't, then the league would have probably not had them there. But maybe it's just like Angel Hernandez, where you pretty much can get rid of them. I don't know, man. I'm just yapping at this point. Rebounding, right? Offensive boards, Peyton Pritchard. Which team will do a better job handling the offensive rebounds? That's gonna be intriguing, and the 3-point shooting speaks for itself, right? Can Tatum avoid too many of those bad pull-up jump shots, or can he at least make more of them than he has throughout these playoffs? But I mean, that was not even the issue against the Warriors, right? He was making his threes against the Warriors. He was awful everywhere else. And I think they've put him in better positions this year, right? In the block, he's getting better, looks at the basket, clearer decisions, right? He's gotten some mid-range jumpers that they run for him. So I think that has improved for Tatum offensively significantly, and the playmaking since 2022. And Jalen Brown as a shot creator, attacking the mismatches, Can they attack Luka well? How will Luka hold up against this athleticism, even though he is very athletic, but just in a different way than a Jalen Brown, right? Than a Jason Tatum. Um, can can they attack the closeouts well, especially against Luka, because they have the players to do so, right? Brown, Tatum, and Derek White can do that, which is why we might see some Luka on Porzingis. Uh, he can obviously punish the block much better than Rudy did against Luka, but that might be a trade-off the Mavs aren't too mad at. Or obviously on Jrue Holiday, can Jrue Holiday continue his offensive hot streak, which because he has been sensational these playoffs and he has hit some timely shots. Um, but yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see the pick and roll defenses. I'm intrigued to see the rotations. I'm intrigued to see the defensive and offensive adjustments. How will they defend Luka? How will the Mavs try to bother Tatum? Uh, how will the rotations be? Will Jaden Hardy get those minutes? The minutes will be intriguing, right? Because Luka and Kyrie play a whole lot of minutes. Uh, at the end of the day, um, yeah, I don't think I gave you anything like crazy here, but those are just my basic thoughts about the finals. Um, as I'm learning and learning, as we all do, and I'm really excited for these finals. I think we're gonna have a banger series. I got the Mavericks in 6 because I bet on them to win every series in 6. Uh, and just for that, I don't know, man. I honestly just want the Mavericks to win more than the Celtics. I'm not gonna hide it, but um, I think we could get a 7-game series here, and I don't think I would be surprised by the Celtics winning this series even easily, right? Because they have a lot of cheat codes in a way with the way the roster has been constructed. While not as much depth as Dallas has, uh, they obviously have the best starting five in the NBA. One of the best starting five we've seen this decade, or this century, and um, it will be fun. It will be really fun. Um, yeah, that's it. That's it. 17 minutes of just some ball talk. Really enjoyed it. Um, I'll go edit this out, put this out before the final start. And then tomorrow I'll be here to obviously talk about the game one, about what I saw, what I didn't see, what I liked, what I disliked. And just like that, man, the last series of basketball before we don't forget we get the Olympics this summer, which means we'll get some high level hoops uh, in in July. So it's not it will not be that much of a basketball drought for the men's side, and we obviously have a lot of fun in the WNBA, which I've been really enjoying this season. Shout out Marina Mabre, please. No? Okay, I'll shut the fuck up. But I probably won't be making videos about the WNBA this season. Maybe if there is something I genuinely feel like I can add to the conversation, or if I'm passionate enough to talk about it, because there are a lot of better people to cover the WNBA who have followed it for much longer than I am, and I'm just gonna be enjoying the show. And when the Warriors Valkyries team will be here, I'll be covering that probably, or I'll be wanting to talk about that. Shout out Aja Wilson, she's the dog, man. She's the best. She's the fucking best. And the gap between her and Stewie is a little bigger than I would say was headed into the season, and them two are just the best two players in the league, and the gap is huge then. But yeah, the WNBA has been fucking awesome. That's for sure. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Be kind to yourself and to others. Stand on your morals. If you want to see me play God of War, you can check it out on my other channel. I probably have it somewhere in this video. I don't know. And um, I'll be here tomorrow to add to the final talk. Or not add, but sometimes it's not about adding. Sometimes it's about passion, right? And just using your words, creativity, getting that stuff out there for your personal just happiness at the end of the day. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't even have to be deep, I guess. Anyway, thank you all. Love you all. Bye.